me feel like I'm in a vintage movie. You always know what to say and how to move me. Load me up into your car, take a drive. One day terrace. 오늘은 테라스에서 시험 공부를 해볼까 합니다. 시험이라고 해봤자 하나밖에 없지만 그렇기에 더 공부를 해야 되는 게 아닌가. 왜냐면 저 이번에 2과목을 듣거든요. 근데 마지막 학기라서 2과목이면 그 한 과목당 시험 점수가 엄청 중요하잖아요. 이게 자석이라서 이러는구나. 왜 햇빛을 이렇게 딱 보면서 공부하고 싶은데 그 옆집 테라스에 누가 나오면은 민망하기 때문에 모자를 써서 보완을 해봅니다. 아니, actually, I don't have. I can shade my face with my hair. 복식할 때 그리스 복식. 고대 그리스는 복식할 때. Daniel is taking a rest with brush.
Hey, what are you doing?
So pretty today. Where are we going, Daniel?
Kaufland.
Because there will be flea market that we missed before. 사람이 벌써 엄청 많다. Was it on my hair?
Here.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
It fell from the tree, I think, when we took a walk there.
Actually, a little bit cute. But still. Wait.
I should sell my paintings.
Hey, you can, Daniel. Daniel, look. It's not painting, but it's, you know. Mm. Oh, yeah.
All different.
Das ist alles Modeschmuck. Aber es läuft nicht an.
I told you I wanted to buy some English book.
Alright.
Oh, what's this? Looks so same. Okay, this is German. Do you know what is this?
Let's see, there. Looks old, but I don't know if it's an original one. This is a very old font.
CD?
No.
Oh, mini. Oh, yellow.
Wie viel für den?
Der kostet 20.
20? Okay.
Ja.
20?
Yeah, it's also silver. Ja, sie kommen aus Holland.
Ja, is dat niet geweest dan? Wat Papier eromheen?
Ist okay, geht so.
Geht zo?
Ja.
Ja, maar dan, papier kost ook geld, dan neem ik weer 5.
Ja, ist eine gute Flasche.
This is a good one. Oh, what's that? Stone. Yeah, I know it's stone.
Oh, look, there's like a polished one.
Polished? Oh. Huh?
Yeah.
Like this?
Yeah.
This?
No. You need to make a hole in your oi baboy.
Here?
Yes.
Aww. Oh. Wow, already sounds is different. Oi, oi. 예뻐. 제주도를 보고 와서 비자 받고 이제 9시에 아침 먹고 나서 이제 처음으로 먹긴 밥. Done, Daniel?
No, didn't work.
Didn't work? 부자재는 좀 생겼는데 그냥 책임이 있더라고요. 자수 인증사실 잘 먹겠습니다.
잘 먹겠습니다.
Tired, Daniel?
I'm okay.
Tired. Let's eat.
Eat.
Let's eat
Try.
healthy.
Like this.
Maybe red bean, better not.
Really? Tomatoes would be better.
Yeah, tomato is fine.
Maybe a little bit sour.
Let's make this often.
fair.
아, 페어. 빈티지 페어가 있다고 해서 가는 중입니다.
혼자 가고 있어?
아니, 둘이 가고 있어.
아, 둘이 가고 있어.
비밀이야. Pretty eye. You. Kilo. I think it's like a hard hues vintage brand in Europe. So it usually held not only in Germany and many other
Nächste
countries as
Station.
well.
Hasbergen. Ausstieg in Fahrtrichtung rechts.
Best friend. Okay, my friend, my colleague.
Let's go. It's not the time yet. Maybe we can.
Tastes like honeycomb and hurricane. Waking up to the sun when I'm out again. I didn't let it shake me when the pieces fell out of place. Unlock the giants, I'm too young for dying. I fight with defiance, hard to fit in when I'm flying, flying. Fit in when I'm flying, flying. Someday never comes, road trips and shotguns, sunshine on my skin, smile is kicking in, vibes are in the air, jumping everywhere, endless nights, 'cause summer's on my mind.
주머니에 자수 넣을 건데 뒤에다가 스케치하고 그냥 이거 따라서 이게 자수용 실은 아닌데 아무튼 이 색으로 한번 해볼까 합니다.
Done. Too late.
Too late?
Oh, I'm done already. Did I get something on the floor? Oh, I think I got something on the floor.
Oh my gosh.
Can you give me maybe tissue?
Okay.
서울로 상경한 지 지금 12년 차입니다.
오늘은 다니엘 사촌 결혼식 갑니다. 안지 얼마 안 됐는데 초대해줘서 독일에서 이렇게 결혼식도 다 가보네요.
I've got a reason not to hide my face. My baby blood and reaching breakneck speed. She picks me up but she don't know my name. Anonymize me, I'm a nobody. She runs the
Yeah, it's like his side is like 80 people. Our side is like Lisa's side is like 3 people.
There's
Yeah.
auch gerne einen Platz finden. Wir haben einen freien Platz frei. Gerne Pass.
So sitzen dürfen und alles so sehen, liegt besonders an Personen, die noch in den letzten Tagen ganz fleißig uns mitgeholfen haben.
맛있겠다, 다니엘.
It's good.
It doesn't taste like curry. It's more sweet.
Good?
I think it was good. We didn't have breakfast. Is it pistachio?
Yes.
Yeah. The one is that? Mint?
Maybe.
Oi.
Wait.
What is this? Looks nice. Almond? Oh, so pretty.
I saw so many deers when we were going back. At least 3.
Really?
Oh.
I had to see them too.
Let's go to the forest then. There's but there's cigarettes better now.
지금 자수 넣고 있는 중입니다. 헉! 뒤는 좀 그런데 그 기계 자수 넣는 것처럼 빼곡하게 할까? 아니 그렇게 하고 싶었는데 제가 지금 기회가 없는 상황에서 손으로 해야 되다 보니까 날이 살 것 같아서 응? Flight? May 11 to 14. Why? Why, Daniel? I checked the date before book. Why, Daniel? Tell me. Daniel, so is everything okay? So is everything okay? What are you doing, Daniel?
I had to check something.
So, what was it, Daniel?
Nothing. Me, I'm free. I don't have anything.
Huh?
But it's my mom's work thing.
Your mom's work thing?
Oh. But I'll try to call and ask for a different day.
Do you think is it possible to change the date?
Yeah, of course it's possible.
Okay. Did you even tell her that we are going to Spain?
No.
Don't worry. I think our trip is priority. I just didn't keep it in mind. I thought, well,
Yeah.
me, I don't have anything.
Yeah, you don't know. Better.
Thank you for not getting angry at me.
Why?
I don't know, maybe you...
No, I'm not angry. Done.
졸업할 그 즈음에 이쯤에서 한 변화를 좀 줘야